Hi everyone, it's Envis here from Going Buggy. I haven't made a video for a long time because my camera packed up, so I'm having to get used to new software, and you'll have to bear with me a little bit. I've been asked to do techniques, so I'm starting with kiss stamping, and I'm using a stamp set from Paper Tray Ink, but I'm just using a solid flower stamp and a solid leaf and a little heart background stamp. I'm also using a variety of inks and a quilling mat to stamp on. I find it gives a good surface, especially for solid stamps. So I'm inking the flower stamp, pressing it into the heart background, and then stamping it onto a 4.5 by 5 piece of white cardstock. I'm using a variety of inks simply because I haven't got that many coloured inks apart from distress inks. I really need to ask Santa for some, since I've been very good this year. I would like some Hero Art shadow inks or Simon Says stamp inks. So I'm using a variety of Memento chalk inks and even some cheap little cubes that I think are actually meant for children that I got from the craft shop. They're pigment inks. So I'm repeating the process, colouring the solid stamp, pressing it into the heart background, giving it a bit of a wiggle, and wiping it clean in between each application of ink. I've speeded the process up a little bit because otherwise you'd be here forever. So I'm on to the leaf stamp now. I had a bit of trouble getting it to actually stick on the block, but there we go. And I'm using a apple green, one of the little squares of pigment ink, and repeating the process, pressing it into the heart stamp so that the little heart pattern is also on the leaves. And I'm just placing those quite randomly on the card. I don't have to bother wiping off the stamp in between each time because it's not going to get contaminated, and it makes it a little bit quicker. Now I'm just going to stamp a tiny word friend with VersaFine black ink onto the stamp, onto the card, and then all my stamping is finished, so I can put my quilling mat away. And I can put it with a thin foam pads. I used to get these foam pads from Poundland here in the UK, and they stopped selling them. They started selling sugar, which I can get in the supermarket, and they no longer sell these lovely foam pads. They need to get their priorities right. I might write and tell them. So popping that onto a card base, just a plain white card base. And next I've cut out 3 lots of thanks words. I'm a big fan of these scripty die-cut fonts at the moment. This one comes in a cloud, but I've only ever used the actual thanks letters. And what I do, I cut them out from fairly thin paper and stick them together. I put tiny dots of glossy accents on the back and layer up 3 together, and it makes almost like a chipboard element for your card, and it's a lot sturdier to put on. Some of those little skinny little die cuts can be really very difficult to actually put on. So I then put it onto a post-it note just to hold it, and I'm putting more glossy accents on the back. I don't know what I'm doing off camera for that. Putting more glossy accents on the back. I've done that once, obviously. My editing went a little bit wrong there. And I'm smearing it, because otherwise I'm smearing it with my fingers, because otherwise I get blobs of glossy accents squirting out all over the place. And I'm going to put a stamping block on top of it just to hold it for a few seconds. Now, when I was planning this card, I played around with colours and did a bit of a test of the backgrounds, and I used a tiny heart punch to punch some tiny little hearts out. Then I covered them with glossy accents, and this is one that has dried, and I'm just putting a squirt of Ranger's multi-medium matte finish onto the back of the card, onto the back of the little heart, and I'm just going to stick that next to the word friend. And the only thing left to do now is to do something with the centres of the flowers that look a little bit naked. So I've already prepared a little twine bow with a button attached to it, and I'm going to dabble that in the multi-medium as well and get rid of excess glue with my fingers and pop it down. And lastly, I'm just going to put some liquid pearls onto the centres of the flowers, and I'm hoping that that will just be enough. Putting the same colour liquid, it's pale turquoise liquid pearls, that will unify all the different colours of blue in the card. And I'm just going to flick the bottom of it, because you get those pointy bits with liquid pearls, and if you flick it from behind, it evens them out into nice little domes. And there's the finished card. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again soon. Bye bye.